Well, today I am really, really honoured and privileged to have the amazing Dr. Christina Rahm on my show today. How are you doing, Dr. Christina?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you. How are you?
Really, really good. Really, really good. Spring is in the air in the UK. Now,
Yep.
Dr. Christina, a lot of my listeners have heard Clayton speak, and he is just so fantastic, sort of, and so enthusiastic for health and wellness. But you, to me, Dr. Christina, really sort of personify the perfect match between science, intuitive ability, and nature. And your CV is so impressive. I'm going to let you introduce yourself to my audience, if that's okay.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for your comments and your compliment. First of all, I appreciate that. That was very kind. I am a, psychologist at first. I have a master's of science, but I really focused a lot on rehabilitation of the body, as well as psychology. And then my first doctorate degree was in counseling psychology. I heard different people argue about my education, and the truth is I have 3 doctorate degrees, just in different areas, from strategic science to psychology to counseling. My postdoc, I did focus a lot on nanobiotechnology and nutrition as well. And I focused a lot on pharmaceutical operations and management of manufacturing. And the reason I did that is I've worked in biotech and pharma. I was a psychologist as well, and I really wanted to go full circle and understand not just how to develop products, but how to manufacture them, and then how to really help people. And for me, my focus has always been the mind, body, and spirit. It has never been just the body, to be honest, because at the age 25, I had cancer. I lost a child. I had a brain tumor. Before that, I had had Lyme disease. And basically, I had a cascade of events that happened, and I was worried I wasn't going to really make it. And so from that day on, and I had a sick, lost a child, and then another child that was sick. And so from that day on, I really understood. It was eye-opening to me because I had had a pretty good life. Some things had gone wrong, like all of us, but it really woke me up to understand what was really important. And it really wasn't my physical health that it woke up. It woke me up spiritually and emotionally and mentally, and to understand that I needed to spend every day on this earth doing the best I could and with what I was given. And what I mean by that, it was really important to me that I use the gifts, because we all have important gifts that we're given, right? But you have to basically align those gifts spiritually, energetically, and again, emotionally, mentally, and physical, to achieve things that you need to achieve. So from that day forward, I really looked at it like, okay, I don't know how long I'm going to be here. So while I'm here, what is my goal? What am I supposed to do? And that's when it really hit me. I'm supposed to be a positive example. Yes, God gave me a scientific, mathematical mind. It runs in my family. But I was an artist. My mom's a musician. And I thought, gosh, how do I incorporate all of this? And really, everybody that I meet, my goal was to try to heal, right? And try to promote wellness and health. And for me, it wasn't even about the length of my life, like I said, because I didn't know what was going to happen. It was, I love your cat. I love animals.
Yeah, so do I. Sorry about that. She was just about to knock everything flying.
So beautiful, by the way, beautiful. I always believe, I don't want to get off topic. I love animals. I feel like they're spirit animals. I feel like they're here for us to share an experience as well. But going back to this, from that day on, I really kind of changed. I spent hour after hour trying to really focus so that I could give back. And I'm not a martyr. I'm not someone that thinks that I don't enjoy, I don't deserve to be happy, or that I just want to give. It really taught me about this equilibrium too during that time of, it's important to give, but it's also important to receive, right? Yeah. And so it's really, for me, was eye-opening. And I know you've talked to Clayton. Clayton came into my life and was very much told me about how he felt. But it's really odd from that day. And I haven't talked about this a lot. I probably have never talked about this. I never felt like my job was to get married or to have children. I always felt like my job was to share what I was feeling and making and doing with others. so that I could leave something that would help and not harm the world. Because I did start noticing there's all these things around us that have to do with money or have to do with personal ego or narcissism, on our side. And so I really made a promise to myself that I would always be humble, that I would work very hard every day to create this environment for people and for myself, obviously, where we could heal, self-heal, and really promote wellness by doing things that were good for us and also good for others, right? So in a time where we know there's so many environmental toxins that are causing more cancer, causing more autoimmune disorders, causing more spiritual, emotional, mental issues, I focused on creating solutions. And at first I did that a lot in the pharmaceutical and biotech. And even going back to when I was first diagnosed as a psychologist, I started researching and implementing that into how I was treating patients there. But moving on to pharmaceutical and biotech, I started, I really felt like I was helping people. I would do a lot of patient talks as well as a counselor, and became a scientist in those companies, and was moved over to the research side. That really was not my intention, but because of my education, they did that. So that propelled me, of course, to go back to school again and really focus more on development. But the goals never changed. The overall goal was whatever position I was in, I had to use my gifts every single day to help people because I may not be here, right? And so through that, I actually was able to get rid of the brain tumor. That doesn't mean it won't come back, and I know that. My syringomyelia in the spine is very small. It's a tumor that's inside the spinal cord, and it has not been growing, which is really great too. And then I had melanoma, squamous, basal. I had cancer throughout my body. So I never thought for 1 second, I'm never going to have this again. I never crossed my mind. I just knew this is my journey now. I have to accept it. I went through days where I felt sorry for myself. And then I realized this isn't helping me either. I still go through those days. Like this weekend, I realized I had not had a night at home where I had been home earlier than 10 or 11 at night and gone to bed like at 1. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm exhausted. And I kind of got mad thinking I'm not sleeping enough. And then I had to reel it back in and say, okay, that's your fault, Christina. Don't feel sorry for yourself. Just change it. So I literally, from the age of 25, I had this mission of spiritual, emotional, mental, physical wellness for myself and for others. And for me, it hit me, if I was just going to do it for myself, it was great because I could share that light with others. But if I could share some of the stuff God gave me, the gifts, which are formulations, are creating things that can help people, then it could help even more people. And, Clayton joined me on that journey. He had his own journey that's different than mine because we're all different. And we need to celebrate that, right? People say to me, how in the world did you two get together? You're so different. I mean, we're so different. And I say, and I had someone this morning ask me, do you guys ever argue? I'm like, oh yeah, we don't always agree. But it's really odd we don't stay mad at each other. I have this thing. I just think anger and bitterness, if you let it sit and simmer, it's just horrific for you. So I just won't participate in that. And I've had lots of people attack me throughout my career, and I actually don't even stay mad at them, because for me, it's just not, it doesn't help with this equilibrium of energy. That's all we are, right? We're this energetic ball. And so if we can make our energy brighter, if we can make things lighter, if we can provide and protect for the community inside of our body and show love, we can show it outside even more. And so that's always really been the mission. And I don't look at that mission being any less, like I said, emotionally, mentally, or spiritually or energetically than physically. I know everyone thinks of me as a scientist that creates formulas, but for me, that was not the mission. The mission was overall creating an environment so that we can thrive and not be stifled or not have our light go out. I remember being little, and my mom used to sing "This Little Light of Mine" to me when I was little. I'm going to let it shine. I'm going to let it shine. And regardless of your religion, spiritually, I believe that we've got to let our light shine. And Clayton has developed this amazing community of wonderful people like you that they have taken their light and they're letting it shine even more, and everyone's doing it together. And I think what I love about that is there's not this jealousy. Yeah. There's not, I mean, it's, and it's equal, because I don't know if you've heard me talk where I say this, and I'm sincere about this. Yeah, I have a piece of this community, right? Of this puzzle, but there's so many people in this puzzle that will end up being even brighter than me. And that's okay. You know, that's how it is. We just have to support each other. And in a time where there's been extreme darkness, right, because of the pandemic and the different things going on, I've really maintained this energetic equilibrium of, okay, this is how you guys feel. And I understand that, you know, you guys are on this side, and then we have this other community on this side. And I understand both of them because, again, we each have a different path. But if you can keep going back to this spiritual, energetic light of trying to improve wellness overall in yourself and in others and throughout the world, we will continue to create a wonderful environment where the people in that environment may not be able to change everything outside, but we can grow in a positive direction together.
It's just so amazing, Christina. Funny enough, I've just taken off my t-shirt I was wearing because it had muddy cat prints all over it. They're born for a time like this. And you sum this up beautifully, Christina. You were born for a time like this, and you and Clayton are attracting into your community people that feel the same, because we have to share and provide solutions. And I've really, you know, I'm a biologist, I'm a natural health practitioner, I've had lots of different careers. My main passion is working with animals. So what drew me to yours and Clayton's company was the fact that here I had a solution. Because when we have animals in our lives with the human-animal connection, our energy fields are intrinsically linked. So you normally have to work with the human and their animals, because there's a lot of key decisions that are affecting each other. And your products are beautiful for animals and for humans. I've had just phenomenal results with them. But everything you said there about sharing and playing it forward is exactly, I think, exactly what we need right now, with everything that everyone's been through, regardless of what information you found out over the last 2 years and the dark places and discoveries people have made. I feel now is a time for really focusing our attention and our energy on the solutions.
Yeah, and actually, and I don't know how I missed this. I didn't know that you were doing with, you know, working with animals. That's amazing. You know, Clayton's family, I'm sure you know, they're veterinarians, and I grew up on a farm. So we had all kinds of animals. You know, we had pigs, we had horses, we had cows, we had everything, peacocks. My grandparents on both sides had these farms, and I grew up loving animals. And so yesterday I left the house, and one of our dogs, Einstein, was in his little cage, and I always take him out. He sleeps in it, you know, and then we get him out. One of our dogs sleeps with us. The other two sleep outside under a heat lamp. They all like different things. And so he's like a micro pom. He's so cute. Clayton doesn't probably put him on any of the videos. He's so tiny. He's like this white fur ball. And I said, I'm so sorry, Einstein, that I'm leaving, and I was really late. I can't pet you. I'm so sorry. I felt so guilty all the way to the office that I hardly couldn't stand it. And then Clayton, sometimes we bring all the animals to the office. He brought Einstein in, and I put Einstein out, and you would have loved this. He has a little diaper because he sometimes uses the bathroom, a little diaper on him. And I was talking to him, and I agree with you. They have this energetic field. They have this energy that's really important. And a lot of that energy is very healing, you know, for dogs. And you know this as much or more than me. They can help. They can sense when something's wrong. They'll come lay by you when they know you need help. And I kind of look at the products that I've made kind of like that. And that's the article I just wrote, which is about, you know, it's Valentine's Day, and we need love. We need support. And especially when we go through a time of crisis, and we have friends that will hug us, or pets that will come and sit by us when we do that. Well, we've got to get the inside of our bodies help, right? Every day, but especially in times of crisis, even more. And as you know, we've had that experience recently. Someone said to me, do animals not get COVID? Can animals not get viruses? I said, absolutely. They can't communicate it the same to us, but they can in their own way. And of course, there's lots of scientists that will debate that, but it's a no-brainer that animals do get viruses. They do get bacteria and parasites and fungus. which is one of the reasons that sometimes we will use animals when we're doing research, right? But it's, for me, if you do anything to an animal or a child that's negative, you're harming the best of our society, the best of our world, because energetically they almost have this pure light, a lot of animals and a lot of children, right? Because it hasn't been dimmed by all that's happened. Yeah. And so my hope is that we continue to give our bodies what we need, to show the support and love, because it's essential, it's imperative. And I don't know how anyone could actually disagree with that. That's kind of how I feel. I mean, what's the negative to showing love and support and kindness and light to each other? There's not any.
Oh, I so agree with you. And you know, we can't separate, can we, the sort of mind, body, spirit. You've got to look after each of those legs of that triangle is really, really important, because they're all going to impact each other. And that's what I love about the range of products you do. And I will point everyone to the videos below if you want to go into the details of the different products, and your lovely interview that you did with our mutual friend Al Pasoni the other week as well was absolutely fantastic. But what I really wanted to do today is just show people, there's been a lot of negative press recently, Dr. Christina, over the last couple of years about the scientific community. And I think it's so important that we see the good, because you know, I'm a scientist, but I'm also a natural health practitioner. And there's a reason why we call them complementary therapies. We don't need to throw the baby out with the bathwater. Take what's good. And what you've managed to do is take all the different bits of your knowledge that you've built up over your absolutely not only just phenomenal work career, but life experiences, and pull those together, which is just beautiful to see.
Well, thank you. I'm sure you're doing the same thing. I'm remembering now some comments Clayton has made about you. So I have this memory where I'll just kind of pull it. And I know you're doing a lot of fantastic things as well. Scientifically, it's been tough. I'll tell you this, as a scientist, for me, because I have worked for a lot of these companies, I'm disappointed a little bit in some of the approaches. You know, I feel like as scientists and doctors and healthcare workers and researchers, we are obligated to tell the truth and to holistically, through a continuum approach and holistic and collective approach, look at everything. And unfortunately, sometimes science can become about money more than it can become about healing. Someone asked me the other day if I was aware of that. And I said, yes, I'm aware of that. I also know that we have some control to step in and to be this light, this force, this brain power. Even, you know, you and I are scientists. We can make comments and they should be respected. But unfortunately, you're right. Scientists have been under attack if they don't go along with the narrative recently. I think that's changing. I'll be honest. The damage has already been done to a lot of the medical scientific community that they've attacked, right? I mean, I've told you, I just said earlier, I've been attacked too. It's so ridiculous. I'll have my education attacked, and I went to school for 21 years. I'm like, I don't know if you want my master's of science or if you want my doctorate. I don't know. And then I had to realize I don't need to defend myself. Like I did this, and that's not who I am, right? Just like you being a biologist is not who you are. It's a part of you. What you studied. What I am is a person that's here to share knowledge and light and love to help us all energetically be better. And I feel like each of us are there for that reason. We just have a different gift set, which I love, that we're all different, that we share it with. Like you have a gift, obviously, with animals, and you have a gift at understanding that it's the mind, body, spirit, and soul, that everything is connected. I wish we could share that part of our gifts, because we both have the same gift with others, instead of it just being this one narrow, you have to have X, Y, and Z, or you're not, you know, a scientist, or you have to have X, Y, and Z, or you're not going to be better during the current pandemic. But I do think it's changing, because you're in UK, right?
Yes.
So the UK has changed, for example. You're seeing this shift. And it's so funny. I was sitting there the other day and I was thinking, I wonder what people are thinking, why all of a sudden everything was horrible and it was all this one way and now we're reversing it, but I can't stay angry over it. What I've got to do is just keep moving forward, just like you, and trying to show people the positive way of improving our lives and our wellness and everything that's going on. And I do think it's really odd, while this horrific thing has been happening, a lot of people in the root community have flourished, and I know that you've probably used it like I have to just keep, creating an environment where you can help others. And I acknowledge that, and I'm very thankful for that, because if we can get more of us together, scientifically, emotionally, mentally, and again, physically, I keep saying it. If we can get all of us together to be on the same page, that, okay, we may not always agree on everything. Like, I'm sure you would teach me a million things. I would love to have us do a podcast with you and ask you questions about animals, because I love, we have 4. Actually, we have 5 at our house because we have a cat now. Crumpet was in the office yesterday too, but the cat. But I wish, you have such knowledge. I'd love to learn from you, because that's not the area that I focused on. And this, sometimes when you're a scientist, people think you know everything. And the truth is, none of us know everything. We're just here learning, and sharing with each other.
Yeah, and how boring would it be if we were? And I think, people that sort of know me know that I only talk about and products that I personally use and so have got personal experience of. And that's why, I'm so drawn to what you're doing as a company is bigger than just your products. It's really putting your money where your mouth is and creating a community of people that have all got the right intention to share and make the world a better place. And for me, the products, I think they're absolutely amazing. And I use all of them for my 2-legged and 4-legged family and clients. But the products are making our life easier for all of us to sort of change in the way we want to. And you've got to walk the talk as well. That none of us are any good unless we're really living our full potential. And so I use the products to make life easy for myself. But what's really been just so lovely for me is to see the real people behind the company, because I know I've run my own natural products company, and I know the intent is absolutely everything. And if you've got that intent that's going into every product you'll make, then energetically they're on a different level. So
I'm so glad you said that, because I've had so many when you work as a scientist, you learn everything you can about every patent, everything around it. Like when I was in pharmaceutical and biotech, that's what we did. We researched everything. Like, I was never an expert on proximal nocturnal hemoglobinuria, where the red blood cells slice, but I became an expert because I was hired on the medical and then the clinical research side of a company called Alexion. And so I studied everything I could, every patent, every single thing. And then I started being an expert, right, in front of all the doctors throughout the United States and throughout the world, candidly. And I started doing research and investigator-sponsored trials. Well, it took me a while, but I just kept learning. And I feel like, I know with these products, I researched everything I could, and then I developed, and that's really why I went to Harvard and Cornell. I wanted to know everything that I could learn there, not because it made me a better person, but because it would help me create things better to help more people. So when people ask me about the bioavailability or the efficacy and safety, I say the truth. I worked on this throughout my career. And my intention was one thing. My intention was to help others through. Mm-hmm. Phone's ringing in this. So my intention was to help people through to have better health and wellness, and not just, again, through their whole body. So when I said health and wellness, I've always meant everything. The alignment of the pineal gland and the heart and the stomach, but also all the spirit and the energy inside of you that we use on the outside of us as well. I think that's really hard sometimes for people to understand, but it's my intention. And as a nanotechnologist, nanotechnology does a lot of negative, but if you use with a natural perspective instead of synthetics, you can actually use it to increase the natural ability that the body has. The problem with most nanotechnology products is they're synthetic. They're not natural. And so I just work on delivery systems. And really what I do is I use more emulsions than anything so that it will be bioavailable to the body. And my intention is very pure. And I think that's why it frustrates a lot of other doctors and scientists that just want to make money. That's not my intention. I could sit and talk to people all day and show them that I love them and help them. That's equally important, but I was able to create these products because the intention was to eradicate and get rid of bad things in the body that are dark, that we don't need, and to put more light and to put more energy into the cells that are positive and help them flourish and communicate. Because just like a dog communicates with us when it comes and sits by us or licks us, or comes and looks at us. I mean, this, even when you look at a dog, you are exchanging energy and they feel this endorphin because, and you too, whether we want to admit it or not, we do too, right? And my intentions with the products were to do the same thing, to share with the cells this light and this love and support, and to give our bodies the best we can, because I think some people don't talk to the inside of their bodies, and I do. And I know that sounds weird, but I'm like, I look at myself in the mirror and I say, I love you. And let's do this, because I feel very thankful that I'm, 52, and that when I was 25, I've made it this long, and that I've been able to continue to have a good, productive life and to help others. And it's a pure intention. There's not a negative, there's not any selfish intention involved in it. And I think that's important. I think that's really important for all of us, because it's hard to put my ego on check. I'm going to let you know that there's many times I'm like, that was an ego thing, Christina, that's wrong. Step back, be humble. There's no reason in the world to be arrogant, because when you're sharing light and when you're helping heal and helping with wellness, it's got to have that pure intention. It really does.
Absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much for your time. I know that you've got to be in another meeting now. So I really appreciate your time. I know our listeners will really appreciate it. And I think it was so important. There's not many people where the founders, the chief formulator, CEO, etc., are going to actually give up their time and talk. And that's how important it is for you, because you're spreading the message far and wide. So anything else you want to finish with before I let you go off? Because I know you're a woman in demand.
I would love to schedule with Stephanie a call with you to go over animals, because I have not had the opportunity to interview someone. I could interview my father-in-law, but I hopefully will someday, but I'd love to interview you and ask you questions, especially spiritually and energetically, about animals. So I'll connect you with Stephanie if you don't mind, and hopefully you'll give me some of your time at a later date.
Absolutely. It would have been my pleasure. There's nothing I like talking about more. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for everyone who's listening, and have an amazing day. Take care, Dr. Christina.
You too. Have a fantastic day.
Bye.